What's up, guys? This is another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, DJ Redcap, and we are doing another NWSL week in review. So, as you know, it was an exciting week. We got back from all those international games, and now we're back into the fun part of watching some of the internationals come back home and play for their club teams. So it was a good week for the most part. I think I did okay in my picks, so I can't complain too much. Let's see what the panelists are up to, and let's see if they mention how they did with their picks. We'll go to Courtney first. How did you do?
I should have done better. I should have been 3 out of 5, but a wacky Portland penalty / the Spirit's inability to score another goal kind of screwed me over there, but fine. It's fine. I'm doing fine. I happened to be at that Flash and Pride game and had to kind of go home and have a sit in a dark room and kind of rock myself to calmness after all of the yelling and screaming and oh my God, Alex Morgan! So I survived. I didn't wound anybody, and I'm here and I'm great because the Flash were second place in the league. So I'm a good person right now. But yeah, doing all right.
Oh, what a time to be alive. 2 Flash fans on the show, by the way, people. You see how we're promoting them hard today. Jen Hayes, what have you been up to?
Okay, first of all, I want to say that having 2 Flash fans on the show was not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I'm also like a half a Flash fan. I try to tone down the fanness.
I know.
Because I cover them. So I'm half a fan at heart, but I really try not to really act like one too often. Though I'll openly say I'm very happy when they do well. So.
Yeah, we are fans. We are not apologists. There is a difference.
Okay, fair enough. So what have you been up to, Hayes?
Well, it's just a little bit tired. It's been a difficult couple of days, I think, for everybody. So, happy to get back to the business of discussing soccer.
Indeed. All right, guys, this is the part where I tell everyone, if you're watching and you want to say something to us on Twitter or even Facebook, use the hashtag #WoSoTalk. Let's see what the joke today is. If you'd like to know why cutting your armpit hair is the key to good health, use the hashtag DJRedCap.
Oh my God.
Let's get the show started. Courtney, we're going to Boston versus Spirit. Tell us your thoughts on that game.
The game was so boring. Sorry, Spirit and Breakers fans. It was just boring.
You're
just one of those
in trouble.
And I don't care. I'm sorry. It wasn't super exciting. It was kind of one of those all right, I'm watching the game. Great. However, I will say it was probably a fair result for the Breakers. It was kind of a combination of they actually played better than we've seen them play, and the Spirit just couldn't score. Their first goal was great, but there was a lot of offside and a lot of other shenanigans going on. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about the refs being bad because I'm sure we're gonna do a lot of that because they were for a couple games this weekend not great. But granted, like I said, I'm not gonna blame the whole tie on the fact that there was a penalty that shouldn't have been a penalty, but because the Spirit really should have scored again and it shouldn't have mattered. That shouldn't have come down to that, but it was definitely kind of a whack penalty. There was some contact, but way outside the box, so I'm not really sure what was happening there. But that's okay. It happens. But I think overall, it wasn't necessarily an exciting game. I think the Spirit probably could have played a lot better than they did. I think that Boston did play better than they have in the past, and the combination of, like I said, it was kind of a combination of Spirit not really playing their best and Boston playing a little bit better that, kind of allowed for the draw to happen. So, good for the Breakers fans. They broke 4,000 in attendance for the first time this season too, which is great. I think it does say a lot when your team is not super great, but you can constantly have 3,500, 4,000 people be at their games. So, for that, it just wasn't a very exciting game. I think it was a fair result though because based on how both teams played.
Yeah, no, and the thing is for Boston in these type of games, it's they really should try. This would be one of the games where they're trying their hardest to probably try to grab those 3 points, steal 3 points, because it was a game where the Spirit, as you said, didn't play their best, and they're happy to get out for a point, but in the Spirit, I guess almost should be happy to get out for a point because both ways. I agree with you, Courtney. It was one of those ones where I wasn't really enjoying it either way. All right, but I guess we can move on from that since it wasn't much else to say about it, to be honest. What's the New York Flash versus Pride? We'll go back to you, Courtney, on this one.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So here's the thing, and I'm going to just do my little PSA before they say this.
Okay.
Yeah, the refs were not great this game either, but I wish people would realize, like, don't tweet hate at the team because of that, because the team didn't make the refs bad. The refs were just bad. That being said, again, the refs were bad, but Orlando still probably should have scored about 4 more goals and didn't. So, you know, Paul Riley even said it after the game that Orlando was definitely the better, better team on the night for the most part of the game, but they just, people want to blame the refs. That's fine. There were definitely some bad calls there, but like Brett Eckerstrom had 9 saves, so that's 9 chances that they could have scored and they didn't. And a lot of it was good goalkeeping, and a lot of it was the defense of the Flash. Alana Kennedy and props to Alana Kennedy for coming back. I know like a lot of the Australian players, they tried to try to limit their time, give them about a half or stuff like that because they just got back. But her and Abby Irsay came in second half, but for Kennedy to come in and start and play the whole game and stuff like that was just was awesome because they hadn't really been here and had just traveled long or whatever. But her and Abby Dahlkemper, I really liked Dahlkemper and Irsay in the back at the beginning of the season, but now the more I see Kennedy and Dahlkemper back there, I really like Kennedy back there better. Not better, but I think like they're gelling a little bit quicker. We've seen kind of some less issues between them. But they were really great at shutting Alex Morgan down again, bad calls aside, but there were some times that they gave Morgan space, and thankfully Eckerstrom was able to make the save. But they did a really good job shutting things down on the defensive level. Same thing, like, Mackenzie Doniak scored her first goal. It's kind of not to take anything away from her, but it was again kind of a soft goal in that sense. But the Pride defense at that point just kind of had like Steph Calley is an amazing player, but she just kind of had a lot. Like Doniak was wide open, just hanging out there by herself, like, hey, it's me. But that was not necessarily the greatest goal, but it's not to be great. It went in and counted. So
Right.
And then instead of I'm going to give Ashlyn Harris some credit. Also, normally we all kind of cringe when she gets Save of the Week because it's usually all just fan voted. But I actually wouldn't be upset if she got Save of the Week this week. She made a lot of incredible saves, especially in the second half against the Flash. So, fair result. I know people again argue that the refs kind of gave the Flash that game, but I think despite the fact that they definitely, for at least most of the game, were not the better team, for them to be able to hang on and get the get the 3 points and move up in the standings, I think was great. Again, not necessarily the prettiest of games. I think the refereeing left something to be desired, but again, you can't blame it all on refereeing. You have to also take into account again like the Pride's many chances that they didn't convert on. So it happens.
Yeah, and it's funny for me though, like I said, because they did have many chances, but it's like still in the end, it's like the Pride on the road, man, just 2 different teams at home and on the road. So it's just like I was kind of happy because I chose the Flash in this game. I was expecting them to score about 3 or 4 goals since they were firing all cylinders for the last couple of weeks. But, I mean, even to sneak out here for 1-0 win, they still got the points they needed. And to sit where they're sitting in the standings, no one expected that, to be honest. Maybe a few Flash fans were probably, saying they were going to push for a playoff spot. But to be where they are right now, it's amazing. So good job, and I want to see them pushing on. I know you, Hayes, do you have anything you want to add to that real quick?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, what the hell was Steph Catley doing? How the hell did she let Toniak slip in behind her on that goal? Which is something we usually don't see from Steph Catley. And I'll say that, Pride haven't had great results on the road. They've had all their losses on the road. I think this honestly was their best road performance. Yeah, they got the win in Houston, but I think Houston was the better team. They just couldn't finish, and Orlando had that one great moment from Edmonds. But this actually was a really good performance from them. Harris played well after the kind of questionable goal that she gave up. Laura Alway is not a very fast defender, but I think she did well with her positioning to try and shut down Lynn Williams, which is not an easy task because Lynn Williams must have 4 lungs and rocket boots. She's that fast and can run that long for 90 minutes. Can run that wide for 90 minutes. What else? As far as the goal being disallowed, it wasn't really clear on the stream, if Jasmine Spencer was offside. Don't know what you were able to see, Courtney, but you couldn't really see it from where it was, and it was called an offside, not the collision between Holloway and Eckerstrom. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the other end of the field at that time, and I don't know. I don't know if it was just because we saw the replay on the big, I liked it on the big video monitor, and I mean I thought she was offside. Just my thought, when I looked at it real quick. But again, the stream didn't really give, and even the replay didn't really give that good of an angle, I guess, to really see it. The camera wasn't really in a good place to see kind of what happened. But I don't know. They had a lot of discussion about it, and ultimately said that was the call. So, but like I said, I wasn't in a place where I can really add more to it. But just from looking on the big screen, on the video monitor, it did look she was offside. But again, only the referee, only the officials would really know, I guess. I don't.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it did kind of look like it was offside if you were there. Okay. And one other thing, after the Boston game, I was kind of a little disappointed that they weren't able to test Brett Eckerstrom out that much. I mean, she maybe made one or two really even quote unquote tough saves. So I was kind of hoping to see more, to maybe have to see more from her. She was tested in this game. She did have to make a lot of saves. And aside from a couple of balls that she spilled that Orlando really could have and should have gotten a foot on to equalize, I thought she did a really great job. She was positioned very well, had that one really great double save that then Kennedy cleared off the line late in the first half. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think she's making a case to keep the starting job while D'Angelo's gone with her injury and then the Olympics, and she could possibly push for more playing time even after D'Angelo comes back. So I was really impressed with her. So those are pretty much my thoughts.
Sounds good. Now let's move on to one of the games that I didn't expect it to be interesting at all, Sky Blue versus FC Kansas City. I'm going to go to you, Jen, for some thoughts on that game, and then I guess I'll tell my opinion on both teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I don't really know exactly what to say. I mean, I just watched it, and it wasn't really that memorable, Just kind of blah. I mean, we all say Kansas City isn't fun to watch. Sorry, Danielle, but it's true. And going back to the questionable refereeing decisions, holy missed goal, Batman. How did that not get called a goal? It was clearly in.
3 inches over the line and leaves.
Exactly. Sky Blue got so robbed on that. It's not. I mean, even more robbed than the Pride got on the Spencer goal that was disallowed. So that was a bit of a questionable decision. But that was pretty much really the only one. I think both teams had moments where they were on the front foot. First, Kansas City would be in the Sky Blue box a lot. Then Sky Blue would be in the Kansas City box for a certain period of time, and then bit back and forth. Not super exciting, but it was pretty much evenly split as far as the offensive pressure. Didn't see as much from Leah Galton in the second half when she came in as we did when she came in against both the Flash and the Red Stars. So that was little disappointing, I guess. But come to expect that from a rookie. You're going to have ups and downs. And probably the best moment for me was seeing Sam Kerr come in after how many months on the sidelines with injury.
Right.
She's been working really hard trying to get back, and I've always had a soft spot for her ever since she played for the Flash. So it's really nice to see her come back, and did look a little rusty, like she hadn't played in months, but did have a couple of really nice chances. Had that one shot really late in stoppage time that could have potentially won it. So. not the most exciting game. Certainly not as exciting as the Pride and the Flash game. But I think overall, 1-1 result is fair.
Yeah, I agree with you because these teams to me are just so evenly matched about how they play and just scoring in general this year. Just what you see on the field, kind of what the result is, kind of what I would expect. For Sam Kerr, I can't wait because this is almost like just a little sign. Like, oh, it feels like a great sign that once she does get back in the form, she's gonna make such an impact. Because I felt the impact she made last year of helping the team get forward and just adding that dynamic attacking player is what this team needs. Colton, like I said, she's gonna be up and down as a rookie as is. But overall, like just the game and these two teams in general, this is kind of I think what we're gonna see. Like they're teams that I guess if they score one goal, they're fine. But then the defenses might be leaky enough to let another goal. But if they go down 2 goals, you can say it's pretty much over. These teams just can't score goals, either of these teams. And it would have been nice if we could have snatched that one, Sky Blue. But it's just like we couldn't get anything from it. So you got to take what you can get, really, because they're both like mid-table teams for the most part. And I don't know, FC Kansas City might be a little bit lower table, to be honest with you, just because I'm really so down on this team now after seeing them these couple games and just knowing what they are. It's sad to see a team, like I said, fall from so high to this point, but they are what they are. I mean, so you got to just almost start looking for the draft or something at this point, really. All right, guys, let's move on to Rain versus Dash. We'll let you go, Jen.
Oh, Houston. Houston. Oh my God. I'm serious. I'm regretting picking them so high almost as much as I'm regretting picking Kansas City to finish second.
Same here.
Seriously. Oh. Well, now to be fair, in the first half, I thought they did a very good job of keeping the Rain in front of them. I think Randy Waldron mentioned in his post game that he was trying to do that. Because in past games they've had people get behind them too easily when they tried to pressure. So I think going to a lower pressure, make sure Kim Little doesn't find those pockets of space that she's so good at finding.
Yeah.
Make sure she doesn't do that. Play more containment, bunker and counter type of thing, and it worked really well. I mean, the Rain did have a lot of opportunities in this game, and Lydia Williams pretty much had to stand on her head to keep the scoreline where it was. So it was a fantastic effort from her. In the second half, I thought Houston made some good adjustments. They came out firing, putting more pressure on the Rain, getting forward really well. But then when Salon scored in the 66th, 67th minute, you could just see Houston give up. It was just like, oh, they scored. Oh, we're done. Let's just go through the motions,
Yeah.
After that, they had maybe 2 or 3 other attacks that just didn't look threatening at all. So it's kind of disappointing to see them give up. I think when Seattle scored, they needed someone on the field to say, it's all right, we still got time. We can still get back in this. Let's pick it up. Let's go. And they have that on the roster, but unfortunately she's injured. And without that presence, it was just like, let's just play this out and then go back home. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of disappointing. And Seattle, I think one thing they've been missing this season that they had most of the last 2 years is the swagger, especially at home. They would come into games like, this is our home. We don't lose here. You ain't coming in and taking anything from us. And I think that opening day loss to Sky Blue really shook them really, really badly. I mean, yeah, they did pretty well in the next game and did beat Kansas City, but it just wasn't the same. You didn't see them walk on the field strutting, being all, we're so bad, we're going to, not in an arrogant way, but in a confident, we know we're good, we know we can win, not trying to rub it in their faces, but showing that confidence to, maybe carrying them through a game. And I just haven't seen that this season. They've gotten some results, but it hasn't been that same Seattle swagger.
No, right.
Against Houston, that was really the first time we saw that. They looked confident, they looked comfortable. Kim Little was being Kim Little as best as she could. Once once they got the goal, she was finding more space since Houston had to open up. And again, credit to Lydia Williams for keeping Houston in it for
Mm-hmm.
90 minutes. It's a little unfair to her that because I don't think she could have done anything on that goal. It was a lovely strike by Salon. Credit to her and all that. But yeah, kind of what I expected. It's 6 games between the two, and Seattle has won all 6, so it's more the same. As far as Houston, I'm starting to wonder if maybe the problem isn't the players, if maybe it's more on Randy Waldrum.
Yeah.
Are you seeing these young players? They just don't look like they're developing the way they maybe would on another team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say, under a Paul Riley or a Christy Hawley or even a Matt Beard. I think they might be further along with a different coach at the helm. So I don't know if Houston still has as much confidence as they did, and maybe they're just waiting out the season. But if they continue to slide, they might look to shake things up like the organization did with the Dynamo and cut ties with him, because the way they're going, they're going to be bottom 3, and the worst thing is they don't have any draft picks until the 4th round next season, so there won't be any fixes there. So it's definitely a concern for Houston, and one in which I'm not sure they have the time to figure out. We can talk about, they're missing Carly, they didn't have Rachel Daly. If missing one player is enough to turn you from a great team to a not-so-great team, were you really great to begin with?
Right.
Just food for thought.
It's funny, I've talked to Houston fans. A lot of them are talking about Waldrum out. Like, a lot of them don't like him. They're kind of getting sick of the tactics and wondering what is he doing. It's a lot of times with just like his lineups and substitutions. So I have heard that clamoring that a lot of people are thinking it's the coach now and not the players. As for Seattle, just talking to them about that point of where you said that aura, that aura they had, so it doesn't feel the same this year to me. Something about them just different. Even when I watch them on the field, I don't feel like they're invincible. This team that you go in and you're going to have a real tough game. Feel like you might be able to get a point against them, or might even steal 3 points against them. And it's just weird watching them this year and not feeling the same way. And I'm guessing other teams are starting to feel that too. Just going home. I mean, playing Seattle at home, you used to think, it was almost a lot for them to win most games, or to at least give a team a good game, and it's gonna be hard to get anything out of the game. But yes, something about Seattle just doesn't feel the same, and I just think that, like I said, as high as a lot of people are on them, they might scratch slip into that top 4. But I mean, even a top 5 finish for them is very possible, just to be like right on the outside, because it's not the same Seattle team, and I don't know if Seattle fans have accepted that yet, really, this year. But I don't know. I'm starting to accept that with them. It's easier being a neutral watching Seattle and just saying, okay, yeah, they don't look that good. Something about them seems different. But as a fan, sometimes you're like the last to really accept that your team isn't as good as you want them to be or hope they could be. Let's move on to our game of the week. It was the Chicago Red Stars versus the Portland Thorns. Let's start for you first, Courtney.
I'm not gonna lie, I had trouble watching some of that game, some of it, because the stream was just not cooperating with me. So I definitely caught enough of it so I can comment on it. But I mean, I try not to comment on stream so much on here, but I just need to throw that out there. If it's kind of like, well, Courtney didn't really have a lot to say. It's like Courtney had a really hard time watching. I had like stop motion like soccer playing, but I'm actually kind of surprised that Portland. I was expecting Portland to win, and by like a couple goals.
Right.
I think both goals that were scored were kind of. I mean, here's the thing: is that both the defenses for Chicago and Portland are so strong, and then you have like, especially when you have someone like Tobin Heath rolling around, and then like Sinclair seems to be rolling around. That seems like she's not rolling on the ground, but like just kind of all over the place. And you have like Sinclair seems to be like, I know she was kind of dealing with an injury, but she seems to be, kind of worked past that now and is starting to look more like Sinclair that everyone knows, and is like not terrified of, but is like can do some damage. But both goals are really weird. It's unfortunate, like that first Sinclair's goal was like a major defensive error on Chicago, which is very, I want to say rare. We saw some of it last season too. They had some defensive issues, but props to Sinclair for just putting the pressure on and there was kind of an attempted like back pass. It didn't really make it as far as it had to, and credit to Sinclair for sticking with it and was able to block the goal kick and kind of put it in. So kind of a mixture of Sinclair not giving up. Sometimes you see a lot of players, it's going towards the goalkeeper. I'll they kind of hold up on their run and things like that. But it was really good heads up play from Sinclair to kind of decide to stick with it because she was able to get a goal out of it. And then Press's goal, it was a great shot. It's right because the ability for Kristen Press to turn. Kristen Press can turn on a dime almost and then just send it into the goal. And initially thought it was going to be a great save, things like that, and then stuff happened there too. Not great goalkeeping there. And just kind of went in and but again, I give Kristen Press credit for that also though because she put the good shot on frame and did her thing. But one thing I saw of the game was just I'm astounded by Tobin Heath and her ability to just put the ball. I do think both teams missed. I do think both teams missed chances. Both teams could have got a winner at some point. Specifically, Portland. Tobin Heath is double teamed at the touchline pretty much. And managed to send the ball right where Bringesdotter is, and she just did not get a good head on it, and that's disappointing because if Bringesdotter would have got a head on that ball from Heath, she could have easily had a goal, and Portland could have easily had the lead at that point. But additional lead because I think they already did have the lead at that point. But Tobin Heath's ability to be double teamed, triple teamed, whatever, and still manage to put that ball she sent to Bringesdotter was perfect. And I think part of that too is Bringesdotter's ability to find where the ball is, but still just that kind of skill is awesome. But when you see that kind of skill, you kind of wonder why didn't Portland win? But I think it was for games of the week we've had some clunkers, but I thought it was interesting just because you always when Kristen Press is there. I still stick by what I've said in previous weeks that I still don't think that Press and Huerta really work together well.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Huerta scored when Press was gone. We're woo, and then Press is back, and it's no, my turn.
Yeah.
And they just sadly don't work well together. And I think that's a problem for Chicago, and I think that sometimes is prohibiting Chicago from scoring more points too. But I guess if Kristen Press is scoring goals and they're getting results, fine. But kind of a really weird dynamic. But I think it was an entertaining game from what I was able to catch of it. Before I got annoyed with the stream and stopped watching. But, again, I think there could have been a result from both teams. And, again, both goals are kind of a mix of poor defensive play and good persistence and good skill from the offense. But, it was an okay game. I would have liked to have a result. I would have thought there would have been a better result. But, I think it was entertaining. And I think having Press back is always good to watch and kind of see how the rest of the team dynamic kind of changes and the lineup and formation changes when Press is in, and again, Portland and Tobin Heath in particular just has a way of doing crazy things, and it's nice to see Sinclair seeming to be back to full health, so that's always good also, especially she was out for a good time with that injury. So
I guess I say this, I don't know if this is how you guys feel about the whole Press and Huerta on the field, but this is how I feel. It's by trying to get all of your best players on the field, it's kind of killing the chemistry of how good the team can actually be. If you had one on the bench used as not Press, but if you had Huerta or even Hoya or something on the bench as a super sub and actually played too, even though Huerta and Press would still be kind of weird. Hoya plays better, I think, off of them probably a little better.
They do use Hoya as a super sub a lot of times.
Yeah, and I like that when they do that.
And that works. That works for them because they're not trying to start off forcing them to all kind of work together.
Right.
When Hoya comes in as a super sub, she's done a really good job, especially this season. But I don't know, man. It was nice to see Huerta shine when Press was gone, but now it's back to they're not really coexisting well. And again, obviously, feel free to disagree with that, any Chicago or Press or Huerta fans or anything. But that's just our opinion. Is that kind of what we're seeing is that they don't seem to go well. And, you'll get a goal still, but it's usually more of a solo effort of one of them, usually Press kind of getting a ball and turning and or getting the ball and running and making a play, but it kind of is what it is.
It's not a good link up top with them like that. So yeah, I agree with you. Jen, your thoughts?
First of all, Chicago. Really disappointed that you couldn't get Lindsey Horan her 5th yellow card of the season in this game. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that'd been kind
But
of
no,
funny.
you couldn't. So we're back to not talk to the hand status. So that's kind of a disappointment. I think actually, considering that both teams did have opportunities to win it, a draw is probably a fair result considering how many draws the two teams have had with each other. I think they had 5 straight at one point, so not really surprising they got another draw. So that's one thing. One thing that actually kind of concerned me about Portland is that I think by the 65th minute maybe they looked exhausted. They looked like like their plan was to press Chicago so hard and maybe get some goals out of it, and then back off and try to make Chicago come at them. But it kind of backfired when they weren't putting away their chances, and Chicago was able to come at them in the second half because Portland just didn't have the legs, which could be a concern for them this coming weekend. But that's one thing I noticed. What else was I gonna say? I think Courtney pretty much covered most of it. And I'll co-sign on the press and Huerta having no chemistry. You know, we've seen it for over a season now, and it's just not happening. So, I mean, I know Rory Dames likes Huerta. I know he loves press, and I know he wants them on the field together. But at a certain point, you just have to say this just isn't working, and I might have to try something else. You know, maybe have Huerta in as a super sub and start Hoy up top, who as we all said, has better chemistry with press. So it might be something for Rory Dames to think about, especially since it's just not working for them. It's not working for them. It's painful to watch at times. So, I mean, I don't really have much more to add that y'all didn't say. So it was a pretty good game, certainly better than some of the other games we've picked for our game of the week. So fun game, you know. Good on Chicago for getting to first on a tiebreaker. But hopefully by next weekend that won't matter, and the good guys will be on top.
It's almost like I'm thinking like it could be an OP in itself of just the Huerta and press. Like I would love to see like you guys' opinions on that, just the viewers, because I will, especially Chicago viewers, to see what you guys really think. And I know someone's gonna leave a comment on something, so I want to see your views on that. Yeah, you know it. Like, not even in a bad way though, because the Chicago fans are real cool in how they talk to you about stuff. So I can't wait to hear how what you guys have to say about that. All right, we're gonna pick our players of the week, and then we'll do the pick'ems, and we'll see how many we get wrong this time. Player of the week.
Well, you can go to Jen first because I blatantly just stole the same one as her. So I think we should go to her first and let her explain it because I don't want to go first because I actually kind of stole her. So go to her.
Jen, who you got?
Well, I did actually give some thought to Lydia Williams taking it. Oh, hold on. Let me get this out.
Oh God.
I did actually give some thought to Lydia Williams after she stood on her head for 90 minutes against the rain, but I did ultimately go with Britt Eckerstrom simply because the Flash were able to get the win and the Dash weren't. So I think their performances were even, but the fact that one won and the other didn't, I got to go with Eckerstrom.
Is that your pick too, Courtney?
Yeah, it is, and I usually try to pick someone different, but like I really, after watching, like especially after catching up on all the games, like really, I didn't get to watch all of this weekend. There were a couple different options, but I really think ultimately like she made a lot of really good saves that helped the Flash maintain their victory. So I'm also gonna go with her.
Okay, that's good. For me, I haven't chosen Sky Blue player in a while, so I'm going with Sarah Killian because, Cloud9, I kind of like you, so Sarah Killian, we'll go with that. Put you guys on the board for once, so you can't say I haven't picked a Sky Blue player in a while. All right, guys, this is the fun part. This is where we pick the teams, and we all think we're right until the games start playing, and then all the teams get draws or lose games they shouldn't. So we're going to start first with the Western New York Flash versus the Portland Thorns. Who you got, Jen?
Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
there are gonna be a lot of people really, really mad.
I'll be there. I mean, it's gonna happen. So.
I am actually going to go with a Portland win, 2-1.
Ooh.
That's
And
rough, Jen.
sorry, I'll turn in my Flash fan card later.
Yikes.
Change
I
that
think
lower
for
third.
me the X factor is going to be the insertion of Amandine Henry, since it is looking like this will be her first game as a member of the Thorns. The question is, how will she adapt to the faster and more physical and higher pressing pace of the NWSL compared to what she would face off against with the French national team or Lyon, where their opponents don't play at that speed. They're not as fast. They're not as physical. They don't press as well. I mean, she's not going to be able to stand at midfield with the ball for 10, 20, 30 seconds like we saw her do in the Champions League final,
Right.
as Wolfsburg wasn't pressing Leon that much. So that'll be a question. And as I mentioned in the recap of the Chicago-Portland game, Portland looked exhausted by the 65th minute. They looked out of gas, which is going to be a problem for them against a Flash team that has speed all over the park and can run for 90 minutes. Are they going to try to press high again and use the same strategy only to run out of gas and have Lynn Williams or Jess McDonald blow by them in the 80th minute and score? So those are two concerns, but I think overall, comparing the talent level, I love the Flash, but Portland at full strength is just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And even though they're not great on the road, I think that overall slightly higher level of quality will be enough to push them over the top. So I'm going with a 2-1 Portland win.
Courtney, who you got?
I'm going for the Flash one just because of everything that Jen just said, pretty much. I know people are going to think I'm nuts, but every time I've also picked the Flash, they've won recently, so I'm going to just keep going with that. Maybe we'll get some points. No, Jen pretty much said everything, though. It's like, yeah, they may have Henry, but like the majority, honestly, maybe not the majority, but we've seen quite a few international players come in and not, especially in their first game, not adjust well to NWSL and the kind of pace and play over here. So I'm not saying that's going to be the case with Henry, but especially because she literally just got to Portland also and is only going to have a weekend with the team. Not even, because the game's on Friday, and they'll have to travel before then, and you get to still train, but there's still like a disruption in there. So I don't know. People are gonna probably be like, Courtney, you're nuts, but I'm gonna say 2-1 Flash just because. Yeah, Jen made a lot of good points. Like, they did look real tired, and Jess McDonald and Lynn Williams can literally, and Doniak's super fast too. And so I think if they do get tired out, the Flash have proven they can run back and they can run circles for 90 minutes. And I don't know if Portland can necessarily do that, but we'll see. That's just my guess.
For me, as much as Portland, like I said, has that top talent, and there's a team where if all their top talent is playing good, yeah, they can beat anybody in this league easily. I think they're probably one of the best teams in the league if you just look at them on paper. I like the Flash lately, man, and I think this is actually a game they're going to win. Like, they're bringing Henry over. I don't really factor her in. Like, she's still adapting, just getting used to the team. But the Flash, I think they're going to actually give Portland a run for their money, and they're just going to be running up and down the field on them. And Portland might burn out again or so, but I really think the Flash are going to win this game 2-0. All right, guys, let's go to the next game, and it is Spirit versus Pride. Courtney?
Oh, God, Spirit. Spirit 2-1. Wait, where's the game? Oh, it's at the Soccerplex? Oh, yeah, Spirit 2-1.
Yep.
this, especially in the Soccerplex, I think that the Spirit will beat the Pride anyways, but especially at home. Combination of the Pride not being took on the road, plus the Spirit being really, really good when they play at the Plex. So I'm gonna say 2-1 Spirit.
Jen?
I'm gonna go 3-0 Spirit. Gonna top your score, Courtney.
Go for it.
Like you said, even though Orlando had a great performance against the Flash, their best performance on the road, it remains to be seen if they can keep that quality or if it was just a one-off. So, and knowing how good Washington is at the Soccerplex, I just can't go against them, especially not against the Pride. Don't hate me, Pride fans. I'm just saying how I see it. So I'll go 3-0 Spirit.
I think their good performance on the road was a one-off, so I'm definitely not ever choosing against the Spirit at home. I love the Spirit at home, and anytime I feel like they drop points, they come back stronger the next week. They're going to win this game, and yeah, I guess I'll just keep with the 2-0, even though I think they could score 3, 4, 5, as LeBron said. All right, let's go on to the next one. It is CRS versus Boston. Chicago. Who you got, Jim?
Well, Boston's been getting better defensively, but it's in Chicago. You know, have to go with the Red Stars. I'm going to say 2-0.
Courtney?
1-0 Chicago, just because Boston's been improving, like Jen said, but I don't know. I think it's going to be another Chicago win. I think it'll be a Chicago win there, just because Boston still has not this year at all scored a goal from the run of play at all. Not happened. Hasn't happened. So, like scoring goals is still an issue for them, and I think Chicago will score, and they won't. So I'll say 1-0.
Yeah, as much as we talk about like the kind of the issues up front with Chicago, they score goals because those players can have those one magic moment by themselves, and I think they're going to win a game. But I see it like a 1-0 type of game. Like I just don't have any faith in Boston anymore. I don't think I did at the beginning of this season or I did last season. So we're going to continue that trend against Boston. All right, Sky Blue versus the Rain. Ooh, who you got, Courtney?
Oh, this is Seattle 1-0, I guess. I'm trying not to pick draws. I picked a draw last week and it worked out, but no, screw it. 1-1, 1-1 draw. Whatever, 1-1 draw.
Jim?
Fine.
Oh God. I wanna pick a 1-1 draw, but something's just telling me it's either gonna be a draw or another Sky Blue win. So since Courtney picked a draw, I'll go 1-0 Sky Blue.
Nice. Yeah, this is a weird one because I can see the Rain like slipping up and losing this game too, since they're such a shaky team at times. I think I'm gonna go with Sky Blue at this one, but it will be 1-0. If the Rain come out firing early though, it could be bad. But we'll go Sky Blue at this one because this is a weird game, to say the least. Dash versus FC Kansas City. This is your draw. I'm going draw 1. No, we'll go 0-0 just to make all the fans mad. Jen?
Well, the Dash did win the last game, but
this is a tough one.
but
This is horrible.
It was pretty much mostly Kansas City with a few minutes of insanity that the Dash capitalized on. Seeing as how it's in Houston and the Dash are still going to be kind of pissed off about their results, you know what? I'm going to give this one to Houston. I'm going to say 1-0 Dash.
They got to win one sometimes. I can hear you, and I can understand that. Courtney? Well.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same. I'm going to say the same as Jen. I was thinking about it, and I was just like, I don't know why I'm picking Houston at all. I have no idea. But I'm going to, and just, I don't know why it's happening, though. Sorry, KC people, but, yeah, I don't know. Neither team has been doing super great, but I'll go with Jen. 1-0 Dash. Crazier things have happened.
It's true. I mean, the Dash are due 1, but it's like it's one of those games where it's two teams where a 1-1 draw would be like, yeah, that's what I saw coming. Okay, guys, I think that's everything. That's another into a great episode of Off the Post. We'll be sure to tell you if we're doing anything fun this week. I know Jake has another one, the Grassroots, which you haven't checked him out. You should definitely look on him. He's interviewing someone, so that's always fun. I guess it's time to wrap this one up, my friends. This is another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, DJ Redcap. I don't know if you guys asked about the armpit stuff, but you should.
Oh,
Let's all
stop.
be waving.
God, you're the worst.
We're all waving, so that means the episode is over. See you guys next week.